All right. Peace and blessings to everybody out there. Welcome back to the Fake Woke Podcast. It's your boy Bobby Villain. Back with another episode. Now, I was going to do an episode, part 2 of Nog News of the Day, talking about Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion and the fact that he dropped his album or whatever. But I'm not going to do that. Somebody, one of my good supporters, my boy Dre, sent me an article on the whole Charles Barkley and Shaq comments about Breonna Taylor. And I think my cousins actually sent me the clips from both of them and what they said. And I see the reaction that social media is giving these two gentlemen about their comments. And to me, again, I personally feel like that if a lot of people react to what people say if they don't necessarily agree with them, if that makes sense. So basically, if you don't think like them, then you're in the wrong. And with a lot of black people, it's like, if you're not on the same wavelength about certain situations, then you're a coon. Or they call you a coon, they call you Uncle Tom, or whatever. And I'm gonna be a buck with you right now. You might not agree with what I'm gonna say, because again, the Fake Woke Podcast is about my perspective, not if we share the same perspective on certain situations. Because I ain't had people sit there and come up to me and was like, why you don't talk about Trump and how he's a racist and this, that, and the third and whatever. I'm like, bro, you already feel that way. I don't need to address that. You already feel that way. That you feel that way, you've already accomplished that. You already set in stone with that. Mind you, I'm gonna do a video on Trump and his $5 billion African American plan, and how he's gonna label the Ku Klux Klan and all that other shit, all the mother organization, terrorist organizations. But back to Breonna Taylor and Charles Barkley and Shaq. Like I was saying, if you don't agree with everybody else, particularly right now, black people in general, because a lot of them feel like those officers should have been tried for murder, should have been convicted of murder, actually. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I felt like they should have been convicted of homicide, not necessarily murder, because you can't prove that they had the intent to murder her. You can't prove that it was racially backed. I've said this in my last video, and it's legit. You can't prove it. I understand you might not agree with me. That's fine. I respect the fact that you don't agree with me. But it's true. You cannot prove that it was racially backed. You cannot prove that they had malicious intent to murder Breonna Taylor. Now, we gonna get to the facts. Now, what Charles Barkley said, you can't forget that Breonna Taylor's boyfriend shot at the police and shot one of the police. He's right about that. But what he's forgetting is, first and foremost, it was a little bit after 12 midnight when they executed that supposedly knock warrant or no knock warrant. Because you have to take this into account. First and foremost, they said she was asleep in bed. Breonna Taylor was asleep in bed. So that means her dude, her boyfriend, was in bed with her. So you you can take this into account that they were both asleep. Now you tell me, you sit there, you're sleeping in your room, you hear a crash, you hear your door get broken off the hinges. What you gonna do? You're gonna do the exact same thing her boyfriend did. The exact same thing. You gonna shoot. You're not gonna go out there and see who busts through your door. You shooting through the door, which I give him. He had every right to do that. Y'all making it seem like he had to go out there with a fucking bat. That's what happened to it was a football player that played for the Chiefs. Somebody broke into his house. A couple of people broke into his house. He went downstairs with a bat and ended up losing his life. So with that being said, he had every right to shoot. He had every right to shoot. And to be honest, I think they didn't hear the police. They had to be asleep. Now, there's somebody that lives above them, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that said that he heard, or he was sitting out there and he heard the police knock and say, such and such police, and they broke down the door. Now, again, first and foremost, let's go back to this. The warrant could have been a no-knock warrant, first and foremost, at first. Then once the whole shit happened, bam, 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 Breonna Taylor dead, they could have switched that shit to a knock warrant. Now, the witness that said that he heard the police knock, that could be fabricated. In order for them to cover their ass. So, with that being said, they're not taking into account that all of that shit could have been forged, all of that shit could have been played to where the police, can cover their ass. Now, let's hit this. The officer that's being charged for wanton endangerment, because he was shooting blindly into the house and the bullets penetrated Breonna Taylor's wall and went through somebody else's wall. Apparently, his bullets didn't even touch Breonna. Now, at first they said they don't know which officer shot Breonna. Which officer's bullets hit Breonna. Now, let's go to this. The FBI conducted their own investigation and they found out who hit Breonna Taylor, which bullets hit Breonna Taylor. And it wasn't a person that's going down for wanton endangerment. So why they covering that shit up? Here's another point, another key fact. Yeah, you execute the warrant. Yeah, the shots break out. Yeah, Breonna Taylor is dead. After that, after you clean up the whole scene, you search the house, what do you find? Nothing. No cash, no drugs, nothing linked to the last boyfriend. Now, my question is, because I don't know why I'm doing another video on this, but now my question is, why are you trying to execute a no-knock warrant at 12 o'clock midnight? Why you didn't just try to catch the supposed ex-boyfriend coming out the house during the day picking up his packages, since packages were being shipped there and y'all supposedly conducting an investigation with the United States Postal Service, which they later reneged on and said that never happened. Why you didn't conduct that shit during the day? Because you need to prove that you need funding for swap bust and shit like that, right? That's why. That's why. Now, y'all might disagree with the fact that the officer that did shoot Breonna Taylor, which is not the one that's being charged right now, you might disagree with me about him being charged for murder. He should be charged for homicide. Somebody should be charged with the death of Breonna Taylor. It might not be murder, but it's for damn sure should be homicide. And it should be more than just one officer being convicted right now. For damn sure. But let's let this be known. Let's let this be known. Let's let this be known that the officer that shot Breonna Taylor, they're hiding that motherfucker. We gonna keep it a buck. They hiding that motherfucker. The one that's up for trial right now, or that's being convicted of wanton endangerment, his bullets didn't even touch Breonna Taylor. Now, let's go to the point to where Charles Barkley said, made his comments about defunding the police. Now, I've already said that I don't agree with defunding the police, because he was absolutely right. Those white neighborhoods, they're gonna have complete funding for their police. Y'all trying to defund y'all trying to defund the police in the hoods or urban areas, but to be honest, we're not ready to police ourselves. How you expect us to protect ourselves from them when we can't even protect ourselves from ourselves? Now, you might disagree with that. You might call me a coon. That's fine. I don't give a fuck. But that's legit. Now, police reform, funnel that money to better training and tactics to handle the public, I absolutely agree with that. They need to learn some jujitsu, some shit, something to where they won't have to pull out their tasers and they won't have to shoot people. They need better training, because a lot of police officers right now are a bunch of low IQ individuals. And what happens when you put a low IQ individual in a uniform with a badge and a gun, and he's dealing with other low IQ individuals? A bunch of low IQ shit is gonna happen. Like with Breonna Taylor, like with George Floyd, like with numerous other people that were murdered, that were killed. And that's just it. Y'all need to completely revamp the shit. You don't need to take the funding away. You need to teach them how to deal with the public. You need to teach them how to deal with people that have mental illnesses. You need to teach them how to deal with people that are intoxicated. You need to teach them how to deal with minority people, quote unquote minority people, or melanated people, indigenous melanated people of America. Not black, because black means slave. Not African American, because not all of us are came from Africa. That's just what it is. And that's just what it is. That's my point.